Folks, we're gonna get wild today on the zoo because we've got Netflix star Mauricio Lara, Inmigrantes, Lalo Alcaraz, and we're gonna talk about American dirt. So sit right there and get ready for some wildness here on the zoo. Honey, I don't know what is going on in the literary world because I only read telenovelas, but there is some brouhaha forming about some new book called American Dirt, and that's what we're gonna dish about in today's Big Deal. Okay, so we've got the book here. It's called Tierra Americana. That's the Spanish title, which I don't even understand how what the translation is because it's American Dirt in English. Americana. And then in Spanish, it's Tierra Americana. No, nada que ver, una cosa con la otra.
You can't translate everything in Spanish to English, English to Spanish. It never works out.
If it was a literal translation, what would it be?
If you go to Mexico and you watch the movies, no movie's ever gonna be translated to the literal, meaning of things. Like they always make up some names that have nothing to do with what it really means. Why they do it, no idea. I guess it just sounds better.
Pero esto es lo que yo no entiendo. Tierra Americana, este libro no es acerca de México.
Bueno, se supone que es una novela acerca de una mexicana que llega a Estados Unidos. She crosses the border.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And basically, it's being very controversial because, there's a lot of stereotypes involved, and people are kind of flipping out about, stereotyping Mexican people or Latinos in this case. Which, it says una novela, which means it's a novel, which means
got it.
It doesn't necessarily have to be real.
Right.
Yeah, if an American woman wrote it and it's about, Latinas or whatever, why did she write it? Is she entitled? Is she not? How many stereotypes
are there?
By the way,
before we even continue this, I just want to clarify that both of you're Mexican and you're of Mexican descent. So, it's really interesting to get your point of view. My parents are from Colombia, so, it's not that I can't relate to this because it does have to do, with tale of immigration. My parents are immigrants, but at the same time, perhaps it wouldn't offend somebody who is non-Mexican, although a lot of Latinx folks out there have been upset. We'll get to that in a second, but keep on telling me, Vivian.
No. I was just saying that, people are getting kind of offended about it and stuff because the stereotype, but me personally, and this is probably just my opinion, I don't care.
Okay, because?
Same.
Because of many things, because a stereotype doesn't define me.
Okay, gotcha.
So if I get offended by it, it's because in some way I feel related to the stereotype, which I really don't. I think.
Well, but I guess
I think it is that people are just tired of that stereotype, but I don't know, people always have to find something to be mad about.
Right.
First they're mad that they don't want to know about our history and our culture, and now they're mad that somebody is that's outside of our culture that's trying to talk about it. I don't know. It's so hard to be like, I'm agreeing with her and I'm not agreeing with her, but at the same time, it's like, hey, she's talking about our culture and our stories in maybe a stereotyped way, but give the woman some credit. She's trying to build, I feel like that bridge that we've built and those walls that we're building, that's building a wall. You being upset with somebody that's outside of the culture, that's already building a wall. And why can't she talk about our culture? Why can't she learn?
We also live, I feel, in a country that we are stereotyped for the good or the bad. It's something that we have to deal with every day. And the only thing we can do about it is just break the stereotypes ourselves and show our real selves to people so that stereotype slowly changes. But just being pissed at someone that writes a novel about it, it really doesn't affect me at all. I haven't read it, so
I haven't read it either. But
I haven't read it.
I bought my banana so I can start reading that.
But I know how I react to things like these. It's not something that would probably upset me because I deal with stereotypes all the time.
But do you? Because I'm just I feel like, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, but I'm saying as a white Latina, I feel like perhaps people don't even realize that you're Latina sometimes, and they don't peg you into certain categories that they usually do when you're brown.
But that's a stereotype thing. I remember when I used to live in Germany, I went there and people had no idea about Mexico, and I had to go and talk to them about my country, and people were like, why are you not wearing a sombrero?
Are you kidding me?
Or do you guys have highways in Mexico and stuff like that?
Why don't you look Mexican? Bueno, I didn't know Mexicans had a certain look, but everyone gets that.
Wait, did they really ask you why didn't you have a sombrero on?
Yes, this is 15, 20 years ago,
but it's not that long ago.
It doesn't matter. People that haven't traveled the world and haven't been to a country have no idea. So all they know is what they imagine or what they've read or what they've seen or what they believe to be true.
Sure.
And yes, maybe something like this will kind of like support that. But again, it's a novel. And second, guys, you can't really get to know a culture only from one book.
I hope not.
My advice is travel the world, go to the places that you are curious about, and break those stereotypes
Watch some
yourself.
LA TV, figure out what the Latinos do.
Exactamente.
And read some TV novelas. I'm just saying.
Right?
Those are the real
stereotype
novelas
right
you want to
there.
be watching. Nah.
I mean, those are stereotypes too, like
Yeah,
the typical,
exactly.
Es que no puede ser eso, or things
Well, I mean,
like.
there's some truth to every stereotype to a certain extent, but it doesn't define our entire culture either.
And there, stereotypes are there for a reason too. Like, it's just putting a lot of things in one box, and we shouldn't do that. That's a generalizing, but that doesn't mean there's some truth to it. Humberto was telling me about a part of this book where a girl from Guadalajara, she crosses the border, and for the first time she sees an ice rink, and she's like, "Whoa, I've never seen an ice rink before," and people are flipping like, "What do you mean, blah blah blah?" And I'm like, dude, there's people in Mexico that have never seen an ice rink.
Pero
And
no
there's
tenemos que
people
ir hasta
that
Mexico.
have.
For years, I never really saw an ice rink, and I live here in the U.S., so...
Dude, there's people that live in LA that have lived in LA their whole lives and never been to Disneyland. That to me, that
Girl, we can get into that more, but anyhow, we're gonna go to a commercial break. We'll be back with more of the Zoo, folks. Don't go anywhere. See, he's already having a good time. Folks, welcome back to the Zoo. We've got Mr. Mauricio Lara from Netflix's The Healing Power of Dude. Mini Mister. Okay, let's do this. You know what to do, right?
I think so.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Wow!
Yes.
Qué rico! I love the wow.
Have you done a wah on any of the other shows that you've been on?
Never before.
Never. See, that's why this is why our show is special.
It is.
Doesn't it just like break the ice
it's
and kind
like-
of get the energy going?
It's bringing some healing into
Yes.
this room right now.
Healing. I like that. Yeah, healing.
Mauricio, so how have you been? Like, you're on this new Netflix show, and I mean, Netflix is the
You're crushing
platform right
it.
now. You're crushing it, dude.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, so to say. It's been about a year since I first got involved with the show, and it's been an amazing roller coaster ever since.
Oh, wonderful.
And there's so much great response from it, especially from Latin America. Brazil loves us, Argentina, everybody. It's amazing.
So I think you're very young, right? How old are you?
I'm 13 years old.
You're 13 years old, so yeah, very young. Thank you.
When did you turn a teenager?
Huh?
When did you become a teenager? What date? What's your birthday?
August 21st, 2020.
August 21st.
So you're
Oh my
like right
goodness.
there.
Está fresco, está fresco.
Fresquito,
Yeah, right there.
fresquito.
Yeah.
So what's for you, you're a young person, and this show is tackling like a very important topic, which is social anxiety, right? In teenagers. So how does that relate to you? Have you ever been in a situation where you've dealt with that in real life, or you had to like do a lot of research to get into character?
Well, thankfully, I've never had to experience social anxiety. So yeah, I did a little research, especially for the audition, because it's a topic that I never really heard about, never really talked about. You don't see it a lot in TV, especially
with kids.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the cool thing about our show. It's like you hear adults talking about mental illness and issues like that, but you never really hear it coming from children or kids. And I think that's what's amazing about our show, is that we're tackling issues like that, and it's a personal story, especially with the creators and the producers, and I think it's amazing that I was able to help bring it to life.
So what's your perspective on it, like as a kid?
I think it's...
How would you explain, like if someone asks you like what is social anxiety in a teenager, how would you be able to explain it to someone that probably has never heard about it before?
Well,
From your own perspective.
from my own perspective, from what we've researched on the show, it's the feeling of what I want to say is like uncertainty.
Okay.
It's, you don't know how the world's going to accept you or not. And as a friend and as the friend of the character, I think if you don't have social anxiety, the best thing you can do is support and be there for the person who does have social anxiety, and just be that rock that they need. And I think that's what I was able to do as a character, and what I'm able to do as being a friend of someone who has social anxiety disorder.
That's very sweet.
Jumping into that, like, are you now implying that with like your friends, family in real life? Maybe you weren't aware of it before. Maybe they didn't open up about it, and now you're kind of like, hey, I'm seeing that around me.
Yeah,
now.
for sure. Like, I'm starting to notice more people are starting to feel shy. Like, when they feel shy, I kind of just tone it down because I can be a little bit much sometimes.
You're an actor.
Yeah, you know, it's all of us.
And you're bubbly. You know?
I'm starting to pick up whenever like I should tone it down and whenever I should like be more considerate of just who I am and like starting to go a little bit out there.
Well, honey, you can go all out there with us because we're crazy over here. Don't worry about holding back.
In the zoo, you can do whatever you want because this is cage-free. But it's good
As long as
to
it's
know.
legal. As long as it's legal, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, don't get us into any trouble, okay? We don't want to get sued. I mean, you're 13, and I'm thinking to myself, you're dealing with this, topic, this theme on this particular show. And don't you feel a lot of pressure now? Like, don't you feel like you're the spokesperson for social anxiety now?
Yeah.
Is that giving you social anxiety?
Oh,
Just
man.
talking about this makes my armpits sweat a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's interesting, yeah, because it's such an important topic, and like I knew like while I was reading the script, sometimes I was like, am I portraying this the right way? Are we tackling it the right way? And I think that we've done a well enough job, and I know it's not going to be the same story as everybody else out there, and I know it's not going to be it's going to be the same experience as everybody with social anxiety disorder, but it may be somebody else's, and I think that we've gotten that portrayed onto the screen, and it's kind of taken a bit of the pressure off, but there's still a lot of pressure.
And also, like, I feel that it's something very special that you're representing our minority as Latinos.
Yes.
Porque, a ver, eres una persona que, cuéntame, tú eres segunda generación
Sí.
americano ya, pero tus papás, ¿de dónde son?
Mi papá es de la República Dominicana
¡Epa!
y mi mamá nació en Nueva York, pero mis abuelos son de Ecuador.
Qué chévere,
Okay.
nice.
Y hablas muy bien español. ¿Te hablaron
Gracias.
en español desde chiquito en tu casa?
Sí, es mi primer idioma, pero me olvidé un poquito porque fui a la escuela y hablo más inglés, pero ahorita estoy tratando a recordar y hablar más español.
Wait,
No,
so
pero
¿tú
le
eres de
sale
Nueva York o eres de Los Ángeles?
No, yo soy de Texas.
Texas.
Sí, sí.
Oh,
Texas
you went to there.
Sí, mi familia mudó de Nueva York
Okay.
a Texas cuando mi mamá era chiquita.
Vale.
Y toda mi familia está allá. Pero entonces venía a Los Ángeles 4 años atrás.
¿Y has ido a Ecuador o a la República Dominicana?
Sí, fui a Ecuador cuando yo tenía 1 año. 2 años.
Chiquitito,
Sí.
seguro ni te
A mí
acuerdas.
no me recuerdo, sí, pero yo quería regresar. Entonces fui a la República. ¿Cuántos años tenía? 7 años. 7
Ok.
años.
Ah, más
¿Recuerdas un
grandecito.
poquito más?
Sí, un poquito
Ok.
más, pero todavía es fuzzy. Yeah.
Ok.
It's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yo te quiero felicitar porque creo que para ser segunda generación hablas excelentemente bien el idioma.
Muchas gracias.
No es fácil vivir en un país que habla inglés, que te desarrollas en el colegio, vas a la escuela y todo es en inglés, y que el español realmente lo tienes de casa, que tus papás también ya son first generation. Entonces yo te quiero felicitar porque a mí me encanta encontrarme
Yeah.
a niños y a gente latina.
¡Aplausos, aplausos, yeah!
Yes. Hasta ver la cultura, you know, it all roots in the parent, with the home where
Yeah.
you live.
Sí.
So
Total,
props to
total.
your parents.
And this is
too.
great
Props to
though,
your
because
parents.
you were saying that like you have fans out in Latin America too, so
my God, it's amazing.
ellos también quieren escucharte hablar en español.
Sí.
No sé qué tanto lo puedes practicar en el actual show.
Sí, pues solo dije una palabra en español, amigos, pero represent.
Okay, you know, we're getting
Pero
there.
sí,
Baby steps.
it's really cool because puedo comunicar con todos mis fans en Latinoamérica y Brasil también, porque portugués pues un poquito.
¿verdad?
pero
Sí,
Se me
se
olvida.
parece un poquillo,
Un poquillo.
Sí, vamos a seguir comunicándonos con los fans, pero después de esta pausa comercial. So we'll be right back in just a second, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Okay. So for people that don't know about the show, right? Tell us a little bit about like the overall story, and also how was it for you to be working with dogs, with animals?
The story is about a 11-year-old kid named Noah who suffers from social anxiety disorder. And he's going back to school for the first time in 2 years after his father's homeschooled him for a while.
Okay.
And he's feeling, you know, a little nervous about going back. And on the first day, he can barely go through the door. So his parents decide to get him an emotional support dog named Dude.
Cute.
And it's played by the incomparable Murphy.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's about
What kind of dog is it? Because I haven't seen the dog.
I don't know. I don't know if we.
Is it a big one, a small
little
one?
dog.
It's a small one.
Okay.
He kind of reminds me of a Chihuahua, so I'm like, we on the same page here, homie. But yeah, so it's about like him and his family and friends and how they're dealing with him going to school and like with their own personal issues. You know, it's like middle school and friends and crushes and all this stuff. So yeah, it's a show for everybody. And like no matter where you are in life, no matter how old you are, I think somebody could find something to relate to it.
Do you have a crush?
I was about to get to that. I saw Mauricio online. Let me look up your co-star Vanessa. I don't know how you pronounce her last name. Prozada?
Prozada, I think so.
Prozada?
Yes.
You guys were hanging around the lake. What's up with
Yeah,
that?
she has a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I know we were spying on the cameras caught Mauricio and Vanessa.
Yeah, no, she's from Vancouver, and we were on the show together, and
Nice.
she was in town, so we decided to go to the Grove and just hang out for a bit. But yeah, she's so cool.
Nice.
Friends.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
TMZ confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know. You know.
Brazil confirmed.
Is this gonna hit Teen Bop soon or one of those, 16 magazines?
I played the fifth. Yeah. I do have a crush on the show, though.
Okay, nice.
Mara, who's played by Sophie Kim.
Okay.
I have a huge crush on her. She doesn't find out that I have a crush on her by the end of the season, but we'll see if there's a season 2. Maybe we can explore that.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
There
crossed.
will be a
Yes.
season
Did you grow
2.
up with dogs yourself?
My grandparents had a dog. Her name was Candy. She was awesome.
Okay.
I loved her to death. And then my cousin has a dog, and I like to think of him as my godson. His name's Tucker Tyler Torres.
Oh, there.
Oh, he's definitely
Yeah.
Latino.
But yeah, I think dogs are amazing. I'm definitely a dog person.
I was
really
just
are
gonna ask you,
healing.
you know, if after the show maybe you were thinking of getting your own emotional
I don't know, that's up
support
to
dog.
mom. That's up to mom.
Mom is back. Your mom is turning her back towards us. No comment from mom.
It's
Yes.
a huge responsibility.
It is,
Yeah.
for sure.
I have an emotional support dog.
Really?
Yeah, and she's very cute. It's just, you know, supposedly they're supposed to calm you down. And she does, but she barks a lot.
Dios mío.
So then sometimes I get more anxiety by having the dog around because she's barking all the time, and then it's just counterproductive, you know?
Yeah.
Wait, so what's the deal with the dog on the set? Does he have his own trailer? Like, does he come in a limousine?
Yeah,
He's the star of the show. There has to
every
be a
day.
perk.
Technically, yes, 2 trailers.
2 trailers?
Yeah, so
O sea, perdón.
Esto para
Wait,
comer, no dormir
what
y
is
acá.
one for and what is the other for?
So
Please
we have-
break this down for us.
So in the States we call it base camp, but in Canada they call it circus.
Oh.
So on circus it's where we have all our trailers, hair and
Sure.
makeup, costumes. So you know obviously the cast has their trailers, and then Murphy has his own trailer.
Okay.
It says Dude, and actually on set we have a voice actor by the name of Ed Witzke, amazing, and he actually thought it was his trailer, but it ended up not being his trailer, so
Got
it was
it.
kind of a cool mix-up. But on set, he has a whole entourage. We had like a cat, and we had 3 other dogs with him, because it was a whole company. And so they had their own trailer there with all their like little cages and their toys and their
Wow.
food. So it was kind of like our thing after lunch. We would try and finish our lunch as fast as we could, and then we'd all go to the trailer and hang out with the puppies
That's so
before we
cute.
went back to set. Yeah.
So they treat them like celebrities, kind
Oh
of.
my God.
They treat them better than you guys. Nah, not the best.
I don't know, but on we had like an inaugural like barbecue to start our filming, and Murphy walks in with cool little pink glasses. I'm like, dang, Murphy's styling.
It's like Beverly Hills Chihuahua. Did you ever see that movie?
That is awesome movie. That
Yeah.
is a great movie.
Yeah, just like that.
Yes, just like that. Oh my God, yes.
So are you planning, you know, in the future, everybody asks you when you're little, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Are you planning on staying in the acting world, or is there something else that's kind of you know, being brought to your attention as you grow up?
I want to do everything. But I for sure want to continue acting for a while. But I love to write, so I would love to become a writer someday, director. But I also love business, and I want to start my own restaurant one day.
Okay.
I think my grandmother is the best cook in the world. You know,
of
abuelita,
course,
she's
Latina,
the best.
que rico.
Yeah, so you know, you don't really see a lot of Ecuadorian restaurants out there, and I would love to start an Ecuadorian
In Canada?
restaurant. Yeah, no, in America.
Oh, in America. Okay.
Yes.
You don't see that.
You don't see that all the time. You know,
That's
it's like, don't get me wrong, I love Mexican food.
Right.
Oh my God, I love Mexican food.
Me
But,
too.
Like you
You're
see
between
Mexican
two
food,
Mexicans aquí.
Yeah, you see Mexican food all the time, and like
Yeah.
you don't really see Ecuadorian food or Dominican food or Costa Rican or whatever. So I would love to open up a restaurant that encompasses all cultures, all Latin American cultures, Caribbean, Central America, South America. So
That's an amazing
beautiful.
concept.
Okay,
Yeah.
so before we head out, I just have to ask you because I looked on your Instagram and I noticed that you met J-Lo. And I'm like, how in the world did you meet J-Lo? I just want to know about that experience.
So that was when I first started acting. It was back in 2014. Oof, so long ago.
Claro, you were like
Decades ago.
Decades. But yeah, so I was filming a showering commercial, and we had finished filming, and we were hanging out with AD. We were taking pictures, and they were like, "There's a rumor on set that J-Lo's here."
What?
And so we're like, "Oh wow!" And so that's pretty cool, you know. Not thinking much of it, you know. It's LA. People look similar.
Everyone's trying to be J-Lo.
Yeah, for sure. And so we were exiting the building, and we see J-Lo with her white Bentley and Benny Medina.
Wow.
And we're like, oh my gosh. So I hide behind a bush with my scared self. And my
Social
mom,
anxiety.
Exactly.
and my mom asks for a picture, and she's like, sure, baby, come here. And I kid you not, she smelled like strawberries. Oh my
Qué
God.
rico.
It was awesome.
Wow.
And, you know, she hugged me, and it was amazing.
Good.
And I will always remember that.
That's
What a cool experience.
That's an awesome
Yeah, it was
experience.
really fun. Yeah.
Did you see her on the Super Bowl?
I did. That
Right, huh?
was amazing. Like, I
She's
love
dope.
Shakira. I love J-Lo. So I'm like, yes.
They're dope.
Yes.
And we love you here in the
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
for
Mauricio.
being here.
Thank you very much for having
Yes,
me.
thank you so much. All right, folks, we will be back with Mr. Lalo Alcaraz. Don't change the channel. Don't go to another YouTube channel. You just stay there, okay, honey? And we are back on the zoo with Mr. Lalo Alcaraz, consulting producer, cartoonist extraordinaire on Nickelodeon's The Casagrandes. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. I love LATV.
Oh, thank you so much for being here with us once again.
The zoo's okay. We'll see.
Thank
LATV is really great.
you. Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
So cut. We're taking them off.
Wait. So tell us a little bit about the Casagrandes because it's a spin-off of another show on Nickelodeon.
Yes,
correct?
I first started working on these shows. The original show is called The Loud House, and it's a big hit for Nickelodeon. And it's about a boy and his 10 sisters, más o menos. I lost track.
Pobrecito.
Yeah, I lost track. I know.
Bien latino
Can you
ellos
imagine?
también, ¿no?
Está sordo now. No.
Y tú también dentro de un rato con dos mujeres.
And there was a character in that show that was friends with the star of the main character of Loud House. Her name was Ronnie Ann Santiago, and she became super popular to the viewers, and so they decided spin-off, and so it's great timing because we need as many Latino TV shows as possible.
Especially
it's like a little
cartoons.
mini renaissance, yeah. And so our show was like it's kind of like a sitcom that's animated, which makes it a little more grounded. The approach to it, you know, there's more and more chanclas on it that fly like boomerangs and things like that, and talking parrot, but you know,
It
that's
definitely
kinda
does
real,
have a lot of
but-
humor. I saw the episode of Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Dia de los Muertos.
I wrote that one.
Yeah, I was actually cute. No, I loved it, and it was so cute because you have like the Mexican American life, and then you have friends that aren't Mexican, don't have that background, and it was just so cute seeing how you guys really were educational, but had humor with it,
Yeah, and the abuela tries to explain it to both her granddaughter, who's a little chicanita, and her friend, who's half white, half Asian, and they both are like, they run out before the explanation is done, and of course everything goes crazy after that.
It's a cartoon.
But it's a way to reach out to kids and show them, culture is great, traditions are awesome, and especially Mexican ones and Latino ones too.
Yeah.
Did the chicken or the egg come first? Did they approach you? Did you hear about this and then you approached them?
No, what's funny is the creative producer on Casagrandes, his name is Miguel Puga,
Okay.
and he's a young man from Boyle Heights, and he came from the Loud House. It's kind of based on a lot of his family members.
Sure.
The characters, he really helped develop the show. And so he convinced them to hire me. And they said, well, who is this guy? And he said, well, I studied him in college.
Oh, wow.
So you have to hire him.
Wait, so you're in a textbook or something for a university?
I'm in a lot of textbooks. And,
Wow.
and
You were a professor,
people
weren't
use
you?
my...
Didn't you teach at?
I did teach at Otis College of Art out by LAX.
I'm a little bit curious about that specifically, like your career as a cartoonist, because I feel that it's not a very typical thing, but it's very important because, you guys...
I like her.
It's a very important, artistry because I feel that, you're showing so many things to children and that's like, it comes with a huge responsibility as well. But how did it start? Like, how did you get into that as opposed to anything else that has to do with drawing or painting?
Well, what's funny is that even though I do have a lot of child readers in my comics are for adults. They're editorial cartoons, they're political cartoons. I do La Cucaracha, which is a daily comic strip, nationally syndicated. And so I use the same philosophy for the Casagrandes. We are educating on a different level little kids. I grew up not seeing myself on TV, not seeing... We didn't have LATV back then.
I know.
Probably Univision or something, I don't know.
Yeah, what was on that, a lot of coochie, and so...
I love that.
I mean, I grew up on the border. I grew up in San Diego and Tijuana, and so I would just see the Beverly Hillbillies in Spanish, dubbed over and things like that.
Okay.
And I grew up, that's how I learned about television and comedy, but I would never see any
Latinos.
any Latinos, any Mexicans, and
Especially
so
cartoons.
this is what I wanted to give back to our kids, so they can see themselves and realize we're not invisible, we're there, and actually we're pretty funny. And we have lots of great customs,
and I like
we're
the
good
fact
people.
that you said, it's about educating people, like not only children, but also adults, even through, comedy or comics or stuff like this. Because we were also talking about stereotypes on The Big Deal.
Right.
And how important it is to break them,
Yes.
So what's your light on that?
You guys, I'm involved in the whole American Dirt controversy.
What's your take on that?
What do you think?
All my friends are other. I'm an author. All my friends are authors, and that book is like it's emblematic of what's wrong. I think not only with American publishing, but with American society in general. Is that they, it's like when people say about Mexicans, that they love us, but they love our food, but they hate us. Well, and that's kind of the same syndrome that's happening in publishing. Is they're cool with writing about us as exotic, violent, whatever animals. No offense to the zoo, but they won't hire us to do it.
Well, that was one of the things that people were upset about.
That is the problem. With that is like the nutshell of that whole crisis. Plus, the book's horrible. I mean, the book is written...
You've actually read the book?
Yeah, I've read big chunks of it, and it's just all wrong, lots of things are wrong.
You feel that way even if it's a novel, though? Like, even if it's fantasy, kind of?
It's not elves and dragons, it's Mexicans, It's like, you can
it's a culture.
do the work. Like my native friends, okay? My Native American friends say, they'll critique something in Hollywood and say, don't make up a tribe, the Ooga Booga tribe, we exist, we're not extinct.
Sure.
You know, we have tribes. We're Navajo, we're Lakota, we're Crow.
Right.
And you can see it all over Mexico. You know, indigenous people exist. You don't have to make stuff up.
Right.
Just because, you know, whatever. If you're doing elves and dragons, yeah, all right. But everybody should watch the Casagrandes, though.
It's cool to have you excited about
That's
this.
an accurate show right there.
We're going to talk more about that in a second. We'll be back with more of the zoo, folks. Don't
I
go
got
anywhere.
nervous. We're done.
And we're getting wild once again with Mr. Lalo Alcaraz, and we've actually got a piece of a little artwork from La Cucaracha.
I
here.
heard it was hanging behind the refrigerator. In the snack bar. In the green room.
basement.
There's a close-up of it, and it says Club Rocamole, which I don't know if you remember making this piece, but is it inspired on Rocamole here in LATV? Is that, because we have a show called Rocamole here as well.
You know what? Probably. I had just been on a LATV
Oh, got
show.
it.
And I remembered that, so I stole it for the name of the club, you know.
We're gonna.
So do we get residuals?
Yeah.
Can we see it again real fast? I just want to point out, cartoonists are nerds. I put all my friends' bands in here, like these Chicano bands, like Los Tumbados, East LA Sabor Factory, Go Betty Go, Los Pochos, that's me. And Smoke and Mirrors, and so when you're a cartoonist, you get to create a whole world,
Right.
and so I can put whatever lo que me da la gana
Of course.
in my cartoons. So I put shout outs to my friends and things like
So
that.
how political does La Cucaracha get?
Very political.
And
Yeah.
you like stirring the pot a little bit.
I'm stirring it every day, and then I flip it over.
How does Middle America take La Cucaracha?
They cancel it.
They cancel it.
Really?
You know, newspapers have been going out of business, and I'm still nationally syndicated,
Sure.
but I'm mainly now here in the West.
Sure.
There's a couple. My comics do run out in Philadelphia and different places
Okay.
and stuff, but
Predominantly Latin cities.
you
I
know,
would think.
all Latino journalists, and I'm sure Latino TV personalities, news people,
Sure.
they get hate mail just because of their Spanish surnames. You know, and we were just talking about this on Twitter the other day because of the American Dirt thing about the threats that were supposedly against the author. The threats all came in to all the Latinos that were attacking the book. Because I mean, and that's our everyday. You know, I get hate mail all the time. You know, I don't tell people where I live. I don't let people know my family's names because I get threats against them. They didn't do anything.
How do you deal with
They don't
that?
even like my comics, my family.
But I don't think people are threatening you for the work that you did on Coco. You know, that was pretty that was extraordinary. You know, I was looking through my notes, and I was going to interview you a couple of years ago, and all I had in my notes was Lalo Alcaraz, Disney-themed Day of the Dead movie. And who would have even thought that it was going to be this huge mega hit called Coco? How was that experience?
Well, it was interesting because, you know, Disney tried to trademark the term Dia de los Muertos.
I remember that, yeah. That was another controversy.
Yeah, and I did a cartoon about it, and many people protested with a petition, and I never signed those. This time is the one time I signed it. But, you know, the news erupted about the trademark on Tuesday night. By Thursday morning, Disney had pulled the trademark.
Oh, good.
Because of the controversy, because the backlash, because somebody didn't see, much like the American Dirt thing, somebody did not understand that maybe it's a bad idea to try to trademark another country's cultural holiday or whatever, right? So anyway, year later, I know somebody that worked on with Disney. And they recommended me to go join the team at Pixar to work on Coco and to just make sure that everything was correct and authentic. And so, yeah, I was cultural consultant on that.
That's really cool to be a cultural consultant on things.
I mean, you know, I wish that everybody at Pixar was Mexican, but, you know, since they're not, I'll take the job to help. But the point is, it's like making a freeway. That thing's got to last 50, 100 years, and why not do it right so that it doesn't collapse the next day? And it's, you know, as artists, we have a responsibility to stand up for our culture, to make sure things are authentic and right. And even if it's a a Mexican dragon. You know, it's got to be the right
The
type
right-
of
sí,
dragon.
He needs una chelita ahí next to him.
Yeah, that's right.
Ya le
He
dije.
breathes, you know, jalapeno fire.
I don't know about a Disney movie with a chelita next to the dragon, but maybe for the LATV version of that one.
I don't know. Coco had murder in it. So,
Oh,
you know.
yeah, you're right. Yeah. All Disney movies kind of deal with that, don't they? You know,
Yeah,
like
they have-
orphanages or orphans and whatnot. Speaking of representation, how much Latino representation is there behind the scenes on the Casagrandes?
On the Casagrandes, I am proud to report that we have a 47% crew that is 47% Latino.
Good.
And mostly it's the artists because, you know, we have some certain skills, you know, in Latin America and Mexico.
Are they literally from
and,
Latin America, or are they just of Latin descent? some of these
They're
artists?
Latino descent, and so we have a lot of Chicanos and people from Mexico. We have and Filipinos who are our cousins, you know.
Nice.
And then we have a few writers on the staff, and we all work hard. We have like all Latino characters are played by Latinos.
Yes, you have some big names.
Which is a very important thing. It's culturally accurate casting. We have one white guy that plays a Latino because he's a Down syndrome actor. He's like one of two in Hollywood, and so the show is cutting edge in many ways. And we have CJ is a boy with Down syndrome, and the actor is amazing that comes in, Jared Kozak. And but we have an amazing cast. We have also Eugenio Derbez plays the
Yes.
you know,
And you have I forget her name right now.
Awesome.
She played Maria on Sesame Street.
Oh, Sonia Manzano plays the
yes.
Abuela Rosa. You know, she's so great. I just worked with her yesterday. She phones in from New York. She phones it in.
Wait, she records the voice on the phone?
We recorded an ISDN line.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have to tame her Puerto Rican accent.
Oh, do
I'm
you?
like, girl, you're not Sonia from the Bronx right now. You're Abuela Rosa from Michoacan.
Oh, yeah.
That's always a thing, no? With actors, like with el acento neutro, y que, porque todo el mundo habla español, pero diferentes acentos, y hay que también adaptar eso, ¿no?
Exactly. I mean, and that's where I come in and make sure that, you know,
Take out that whip.
Things are, stop saying ven aquí. You know, she would say I'm like, take out that G.
Ven aquí, o pronuncia todas las S.
Yeah.
No te las comas.
Yeah. So it's great. The Casagrandes, we're in our first season, and I'm hoping we're going to go on and on for a while.
We're going to send you
You
good vibes for
are.
many more
Thank
seasons.
you.
Many more
It's a
seasons.
wholesome show, co-viewing. There's jokes in there for the adults, but don't tell anybody. I said
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Perfect.
No, I
We
did.
will.
I noticed it. It was cute. I liked it.
Thank you
so
so much for joining us and
Thank
giving us
you
all the
guys.
scoop on the show. Folks, don't go anywhere, as I tell you in every segment, because we're going to have Inmigrantes up in our next segment. Bye. Well, bye for this commercial break. No ajusten sus televisores, sus celulares, wherever you're watching the show, because you're not seeing double. You're seeing the twins of Inmigrantes, Pablo and Carlos. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Gracias.
Bienvenidos, chicos. Bueno, ¿quién es Pablo y quién es Carlos? Porque yo honestamente me confundo. No sé cuál es cuál.
Yo soy Pablo. Y yo soy Carlos.
Okay, good to know. We should put name tags on you so that I won't
Pero a ver,
confuse you.
no son idénticos, ¿sí?
Ya no.
Ya no tanto, ¿verdad?
Yo creo que el peinado es lo que los hace un poquito
Sí,
distintos.
entre otras cosas, sí.
Okay.
Entre otras
Como
cosas.
que los voy a analizar. A ver, quiero.
Siempre tuvimos como bastantes diferencias, la verdad.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Sí,
Bueno, pero
siempre.
se complementan muy bien, que hasta la fecha ahora están, ¿no? Trabajando
Sí,
juntos.
claro. Sí,
Está
en eso sí, compartimos. Claro, pasa que cuando sos gemelo es como que todo lo vas haciendo con tu hermano, ¿no? O sea,
Right.
desde chiquito hasta vas creciendo, entonces él traía algo y yo me copaba con eso o viceversa, entonces como que siempre
Como
uno al
amigos.
lado del otro.
Qué chévere.
Sí.
Y ahora se están complementando porque tienen una nueva producción
Exacto.
que está afuera. Cuéntenos al respecto.
Sí, eso.
Y bueno, salió nuestro primer single de nuestro próximo EP, se llama Zenit y estamos súper contentos, muy contentos.
Y cuéntenos un poquito acerca del single, porque Zenith, ¿qué significa? ¿Saben? ¿Ustedes lo escribieron? ¿De qué se trata el tema? ¿Qué tipo de beats podemos encontrar ahí?
Bueno, Zenith es un momento donde el sol llega a algo así como si fuese los 90 grados, ¿no? Donde, que creo que es al mediodía, alrededor del mediodía, ¿no? Es un momento donde la luz cae bien en vertical directo, casi que no se arma una sombra, que dura un par de minutos, ¿no? Hasta que empieza a caer.
Yo no sabía que eso significaba Zenith. He aprendido algo nuevo.
The show is so educational.
Sabía que eso existía, pero no sabía que se llamaba así.
Claro.
Muy interesante, ¿ok?
Bueno, para nosotros es como una simbología, ¿no? También un poco de nuestro momento musical o nuestra carrera. Ya son 14 años más o menos de que estamos con Inmigrantes y tenemos una sensación de que estamos un poco atravesando ese momento, ¿no? De plenitud y de cierta... Igual la canción, bueno, es un poco más críptica, ¿no? No tiene que hablar puntualmente de eso, pero simboliza un poco nuestro momento musical y la canción es un poco de rock, un poco de todo el bagaje que nosotros venimos trayendo en 14 años, ¿no? De hacer música. Y lo mejor es que la escuchen y que digan a ver qué les parece, ¿no?
Y dentro de la música, o sea, ¿quién hace qué de los dos?
Trabajamos,
Es bastante compartido, la verdad.
Sí, los instrumentos, todo.
Bueno,
Sí.
quizás él es más parte de las es como que la parte instrumental es más de él y quizás la parte lírica es más mía, pero en general es como que nos
Se balancea.
nos complementamos, sí.
Dale, ok.
¿Y cómo ha cambiado la música con el disco que tenían antes del álbum con este álbum que va a salir?
Bueno, quizás este es un álbum más, nos encuentra más maduros musicalmente, a nivel de experiencia también, como con muchos más shows, más grabaciones. Entonces es como que encontramos cierta madurez para este disco, es como un poco diferente. Pero en general nosotros hacemos canciones, entonces siempre está eso como punto principal de
la melodía,
música.
las voces, siempre muchas guitarras también. Por ahí en este disco quizás...
La trayectoria fue, o sea, primero fue Turistas del Paraíso.
Turistas en el Paraíso, sí.
Turistas en el Paraíso, perdón. Y entonces, 12 años después, ¿están ahorita con lo de Zenith? ¿O la carrera fue en Argentina y ahorita están volviendo, o sea, están entrando a Estados Unidos? ¿Cómo está ese tema? Porque, bueno, igual Inmigrantes lo dicen, ¿no?
Claro.
El mismo nombre, pero cuéntenos un poquito de esa trayectoria.
Nosotros hicimos Turistas en el Paraíso, que fue el primer disco en el 2007. Lo hicimos con una discográfica. Y después, bueno, nosotros nos salimos de la discográfica y empezamos una carrera independiente. Hicimos dos EPs de 5 temas de manera completamente independiente y recién ahora nos reencontramos con quien fue el productor, nuestro productor de Turistas, Tonel, que está por ahí.
Ahí está, detrás de las cámaras.
Y bueno, fue así como un reencuentro musical muy lindo, ¿no? Y ahí empezamos como, bueno, hagamos un disco y empezamos a ver canciones, y hicimos un disco y eso empezó como a generar otras cosas también, como, bueno, un sello donde nosotros formamos parte y es como que la verdad es que es un cambio nuevo. Para nosotros es como, de alguna manera es un retorno al mainstream, por decirlo de alguna manera, ¿no?
Se siente rico eso.
Sí, se siente increíble. Para nosotros es como, es haber llegado hasta acá. Ayer lo hablábamos y es como que todas las cosas que fuimos atravesando en estos 14 años que tiene Inmigrantes, 12, ya ni sé cuántos tiene, fueron como diferentes situaciones que fuimos viviendo y la verdad que llegar a esto es como el lugar donde nosotros queríamos estar, donde más cómodos nos sentimos.
Sí, maduraron ustedes y la música con ustedes.
Exacto, sí, y volver a reencontrarnos con nuestro productor también, eso es increíble.
Una cuenta pendiente que teníamos.
Sí, porque
un montón
después de
tiempo.
Turistas, muchos años.
No tuvimos otro productor. Los 2 EP que hicimos en el medio fueron producciones que corrieron por nuestra responsabilidad musical, en todo sentido.
El receso se lo tomaron porque... ¿Por qué? Porque estuvieron como unos añitos sin sacar nada, ¿no?
No, o sea, estuvimos sacando, sacamos EP. Lo que pasa es que pasamos de estar en una multinacional, en Sony Music.
Claro.
Y que bueno, que nos dio la posibilidad de ir a México, de ir a Colombia, Venezuela, España, un montón de lugares. Lo que no pudimos lograr después fue esa trascendencia, ¿no? Llevar nuestro EP a todos esos lugares de vuelta. Entonces ahí es como que parece como que parece como que desaparecimos del mapa. En realidad, obviamente no era la misma situación, pero no, trabajar siempre trabajamos. Es lo único que hacemos y que lo que nos gusta hacer. Es imposible no estar en un estudio grabando algo.
¿Y los fans cómo lo han tomado?
Increíble, la verdad que los fans, sobre todo de estos países, ¿no? México, esos lugares que de Argentina a México, no sé, creo que son 11.000 kilómetros, una locura. O sea, y el hecho de que nos escriban todo el tiempo y no tener noticias, y todavía se mantiene con una fidelidad increíble.
¿Tienen redes sociales para que la gente lo pueda ver?
Sí, por supuesto. Tenemos Instagram, Inmigrantes Música. Facebook estamos también como Inmigrantes Música, y en nuestro canal de YouTube, Inmigrantes Channel, ahí están videos, conciertos, de todo.
Excelente. Bueno, yo le pido al público que los siga a ustedes. Les doy las gracias por estar con nosotros.
Muchas gracias.
And we also want to thank our other guests, Mauricio Lara, Lalo Alcaraz. Folks, remember to follow us online. Download the LATV app. You can watch the zoo anytime, anywhere. And on our YouTube channel. We'll see you next time, folks. Take care. Bye.
Bye.